because you're number one on the, no, you're number two on the poll. I don't know if you guys seen the poll put out earlier today. Just a little fun, just having a little fun. Rating who the real star of the channel is. You had a good start. Really pulled ahead in the beginning of the poll, but crew eventually won out.
That's pretty
You just can't you can't beat him. Of course, I was in third, way behind, but that was expected. As well as it should be, third place. I'm not as smart as this lady. I'm not as handsome as crew. What can you do? So how's everyone doing tonight? How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Well, I'm sliced up. That happens. You can tell my voice is a little weird. I've been outside pretty much all day shoveling dirt. I mean, what? I guess what's new?
You want some cactus juice?
Actually, I got water. I got water in my canteen. I got my canteen. So I mean, we have been real busy with our water harvesting lately. In fact, tonight it's going to be a lot about answering rainwater harvesting questions that people have put down there. But pretty soon we're going to be back to the house build. I think we are at a good place where we can get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been prepping today. Before I started working on the dirt, I had 6 cartfuls left, and now I'm up to 13. I got room for a couple more cartfuls, so I've been pretty busy today. I literally just stopped like 15 minutes ago, maybe.
What's the temp? Yeah, what was the... What's the high today? It's near 100.
The high is like 96 today.
96?
So, what is it that you were saying? We had a high pressure system come in?
Yeah. So temperatures are going up over the weekend, I guess.
We were in the midst of a lot of rain. I mean, monsoon season is here for sure, and it really brought the temperatures down. The temperatures are just amazing the last was it a couple weeks?
Was it?
I have no concept of time.
Or at least the past week has been pretty nice.
I don't want to say a couple weeks. Well, a week and a half, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, the temperatures were just amazing. Of course, you weren't a fan of the humidity with the high temperatures and the rain, and it brought
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it makes it a little harder, like getting to sleep, I think.
I want to drink some canteen water.
I'm seeing, yeah, people in California saying over 100 degrees. Ed says it's 100 degrees in Salt Lake City. 85 in Hawaii.
Go up to Phoenix for a day and you will find your temps balm.
Yes.
No thanks. No thanks, honey. Phoenix trips will be in the wintertime. Filtered rainwater, by the way.
Ooh.
Which is one of the questions I believe that we got. One of the questions people have been asking us is, what do you do with all that rainwater? What do you do with it? And
We use it for things.
we use it for everything, right?
Yes.
All of our water needs. We drink it, we bathe in it, we cook with it. Now a lot of the water that we catch in the poly tanks or the cistern, that'll be used for that, and we take special precautions in how we catch that. Of course, the hacienda that water goes into IBC totes, and that water is specifically for irrigation or building or something like that.
Yeah. Claudia asks, can you explain the big cement cistern out back?
We can. So that was a combination of us needing more water storage capacity. I mean, that was coming right off the heels of one of the wettest, one of the wettest years, at just an incredible monsoon season, and we were just watching tons of water just go to waste. So we wanted more water storage, and we figure, why put money into buying another water tank or something like that when we could maybe get some practice with earth bags and build our own cistern. So we wanted to get practice with earth bags, but like the question is like, how do you? Yeah, we had so many decisions going into that, but basically it's an earth bag cistern, and it got us really adept at working with them with that.
Mm-hmm. Does water just sit in your rain collection system all the time since it's a wet system?
That is correct.
Yeah, it sits in, well, part of it.
So as another kind of one thing I want to talk about is the difference between a wet system and a dry system. As so dry system, all the water goes from the pipes, completely empties into your storage. And I like dry systems for their just efficiency, just clearing everything out. You're done with, you don't got to worry about it. And that's kind of the way I was going to go with it, but we made some last minute changes. And with those last minute changes, I just thought for us it would be easier and quicker to actually go underground with it and then back up and over. So a wet system, water will stay in those pipes until the next rain.
Mm-hmm.
Now a lot of the questions that we got from that is, will that water go bad just sitting in that pipe for that long? So yes, the water will just kind of sit there until the next rain. But depending on how you collect it, if you can keep debris out, if you can keep water out or sunlight out, then that water should be pretty good. Probably could be good for months on end.
Yeah, so I mean, there's different ways you can do that. Like we use screens over our downspouts, just to keep any kind of organic matter out of there. We used to have a first flush system, and that's good for keeping any dirt from getting in there. We kind of took that out to simplify things.
Yeah, a lot of people questioned why not have the first flush in there. And you can do that. You can have as big of a first flush system as you want. You don't necessarily have to have a first flush system, especially in this desert environment where we are, where you don't have to worry so much about things getting into the system. I think Brad Lancaster has like a small pipe that collects like a little bit of a little bit of rain, and then goes on to the system. But we just decided to simplify it. We'll filter it before it gets into the trailer, then we filter it again if we're going to be using it to drink or anything like that.
Carla asks, with all the rain, how does your solar do? Do you get enough sun to keep everything running?
Yeah. It used to be a bigger issue. I used to constantly kind of be like on cloudy days. Basically, if we're running our old RV refrigerator on electricity, you have to forgive me, everyone. My voice is not the same, is it? It's a little.
It sounds like you're losing your voice.
Yeah. I guess that's from working outside all day.
Wow. Yeah, but now we have a more efficient refrigerator.
So with that with that new refrigerator, it's not an issue at all. Cloudy days, I might have to switch that RV fridge back to propane, and we probably have to use a propane. But now I don't even sweat it.
So, and usually when it's cloudy, it's cooler, so we don't have to run that air conditioner.
Mm-hmm.
So that saves on power. What is the elevation you're at? It's about 4,300 feet.
Delilah says, my grandson Elijah loves watching the build and loves digging holes. Well, that's awesome. We should be getting back to the build soon. I'm pretty excited about that.
How much have you collected so far?
So we had one pretty decent rain. That was about a half an inch, and then I think we got about another tenth of an inch a couple of days ago. So I'd say we got about 500 gallons in the poly tanks. I almost never check the cistern because it's a hassle. But I know we got how much did I say we have in those IBC totes?
200 something gallons.
60.
Maybe.
Getting that water, y'all. It's pretty exciting. I've seen other systems and they have an ultraviolet sanitizing. Do you have such a system? We don't have a system like that now. But it's a good way. UV light, it's a good way of filtering the water. It might be something we utilize in the future when we go maybe build the home. But right now we just use a combination of inline filter before the water gets to the RV, and then we have our Berkey.
Someone asking for crew cam? We gotta show the real star of the show.
The real star of the show. All he's doing is lining up for twitching. He's chasing something in his dreams. What do you think he's chasing? You would guess.
Rabbits.
He doesn't even chase rabbits when he's awake.
He gets angry at them.
He gets angry at them and looks at them disapprovingly. But he knows he's too slow to catch one of them things.
Oh, cows.
Cows he will chase. He will go after cows. He thinks he still has a chance of catching those things. Have you ever clipped crew's coat back during the heat of the summer? We don't mess with we don't clip it. At best we'll just kind of brush it and everything like that. But you don't wanna shave it or cut it or anything like that. Just because with the Akita's double coat, they really need that for insulation. Helps them regulate that heat. Did you have crew mess with the snuffle mat today?
No, I don't think he did today.
No?
No.
What's he been doing all day?
What he's doing right now.
Unbelievable, the lazy guy. Cob cannon review yet? No cob cannon review yet. But we might do that soon. Maybe this weekend. Actually, we still haven't finished cobbing the outside of the house yet. We still have to do the whole, we still got what, maybe 1/3 left to do?
Maybe about that. And we'll probably do that tomorrow. I think. And then cob cannon.
Are you sure? It's hot.
Yeah.
You gonna be able to deal with that heat? It's hot. It's gonna be hot this weekend.
What does rainwater taste like? Well, I have not drank unfiltered rainwater, but I know like once we put it through the Berkey filter, it makes it like really pure, and it tastes like water. It doesn't taste like anything really.
I've bathed in unfiltered rainwater.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you remember that time?
When was that? Like a couple years ago?
A couple years ago now?
when our tanks were overflowing and it was like shooting out of the overflow pipe. And then
I'm
you
like,
just
what am I
jumped
going to
in
do?
there.
Might as well take a shower in that overflow. What else are you going to do with it? Oh my gosh, man, my voice is crazy.
How much leakage do you get in your cistern? Well, hopefully none.
How much leakage do we get in the cistern?
Uh,
You get no leakage in the cistern.
I mean, it's not.
I don't know.
It hasn't filled yet.
Yeah.
So I guess we haven't seen.
You'll let us know. I'll let you know if it collapses from all kinds of crazy leaks.
There shouldn't be any because it's lined with a waterproof like membrane.
Drinking all kinds of water and my voice is still a little weird.
Yeah, what's going on? How do you keep algae from growing in your collected water? So I might have mentioned that, but keeping light out of the storage tanks is probably the best way to do that. And
keep out the light, keep out the
organic matter that algae needs to grow. So then that'll help prevent like bacteria and other stuff from growing in there too.
Are you going to finish the earth bag arches to the top for structural integrity? We've already completed all of our earth bag arches. All the arches are complete. It's time to kind of build up from there. I'd like to, have you discussed the hay bales? Not in depth yet. I haven't really got to that point yet, but probably soon. Hay bales probably won't, if we do the straw bales, that probably won't come until the dome is finished. Then we'll have a better idea of if we're fully going to commit to that or not.
Yeah, we'll probably wait on that. Do you have a way to drain the wet part for the winter? Now, I know you were talking about possibly adding a way to drain that out.
I might add, because we had to kind of work quickly to get the system set up, I might add just a clean out. So then you'll be able to kind of empty the water from the pipe. You might be able to pump out the excess from the bottom. That'll come probably like after monsoon season. Where does your black water go? We don't technically have black water. Yeah.
We don't have any flush toilets here.
Oh, yeah, I need to go to the next. So no black water. We don't have any flush toilets. We don't have a traditional septic system. We have a small septic strictly for and that's, I guess technically, yeah, sink water is technically black water.
Kitchen sink water. So
we'll have a small septic for that. But otherwise, all of our gray water goes to a basin out back.
Yeah. And we use that basin to water a tree.
Oh, and then we had a question from Midlife Prices. Midlife Prices won't be here. Unbelievable, right? But they ask if we're going to have a flush toilet in the house. And nope. No flush toilet. We're going to strictly stick with the humanure. Yeah. We've been doing it for a few years now, and I personally don't have any problems with it.
Yeah, it works well. Just compost it.
In fact, coming up in pretty much at the end of the month, our second batch of humanure compost will be ready. And it'll be time to pull all that out, stop building on the new one, and start a whole new pile. You excited? It's like should be a celebratory time.
Well, it was really interesting the last time we did that, which was our first composted batch, I guess.
And then I got my hands right up in there, didn't
Yeah, because like thinking about what that used to be, and then seeing that it turns like into soil, and you know there's like earthworms in there, and
There's a lot of earthworms in there.
it's all broken down,
Yeah.
and it's completely safe. I was wondering if you have problems with mosquitoes in your cistern. I don't think so. You know, as long as it's screened off and they can't get in there, then it's not a problem.
We'll let you know about that. But yeah, it should be closed off. Should no bugs or anything should be able to get in there.
Your mom's memorial tree. That's doing pretty well now.
Yeah.
I was a little worried, like
little worried about
last
it.
month, you know, it was pretty hot and dry, and I think it was getting like adjusted to being transplanted, you know.
Might have had that transplant shock, right?
Yeah, so there was some yellowing of the leaves, and some of the tips of the leaves kind of got dried up, but now it looks pretty good. It's bouncing back.
Do you think I should dig out a basin? I was gonna dig out a basin. Should I do that before the monsoon rains really hit?
Maybe. That'd be a good idea.
Let the rain soak in a little bit better.
Doesn't the water in the black tanks get super hot in the summer? Surprisingly, no. I think I was wondering about that when we first moved out here. I saw those black tanks sitting in the sun. Like, how is the water gonna be hot? But you can feel, if you go and feel the side of those tanks in the middle of the day when it's hot, and you can tell where the water is in there just by feeling it, because the top of the tank that's empty, the empty part, it's hot. And when you move your hand down, you can feel the temperature changing. And just that mass of water keeps it cooler.
Much like the principles of how our house will kind of stay temperature regulated, all the thermal mass of that water will keep everything good. It's so much water. Keith asked a question. I apologize for re-asking us. Hey, Keith, no need to apologize. Sometimes we don't see all the questions that we get,
Yeah.
but we miss them. So if you guys ask a question, we don't get to it, feel free to put that question in there again. What do we have, like one moderator in here today? So sometimes it might be a little tough. But what kind of camera do y'all use? What is your tripod setup and your carry-around stick? The main camera we use is a Canon 6Ti. Am I correct on that?
It's a Canon EOS Rebel
6Ti.
T6.
Yeah, T6i. That's our main camera. As far as tripod setup, it was just kind of a cheap tripod that we got on Amazon. Our tripods don't last very long out here, so we don't like get any kind of like expensive tripods or anything like that. I don't want to invest a ton of money into like a big expensive tripod.
We don't really have a ton of equipment or.
And yeah, we don't have. I don't have like any kind of selfie sticks or anything like that. I just if I'm filming myself with the camera, I just I'm just holding the camera.
You probably should use something so it makes it a little smoother, but.
What are you talking about? There's nothing as smooth as me out there. Nothing smoother than me.
I'm looking at land in Cochise, Arizona. Would there be any cons on buying land right next to pivot farms? I think it depends. I know some areas where there's like a lot of agricultural use of groundwater, people have problems with their wells going dry because they're pumping out a lot of the groundwater there. So you can kind of check to see like how much of that is happening in the area you're looking at. and what the well depths are.
And just recently, there's been a big story about fissures opening up just north of us, right?
Oh yeah.
So like they have part of the highway closed north of us due to fissures, which is due to all the groundwater being pumped out.
Mm-hmm.
We actually were running the AC a little while ago. Yeah, like for a while we didn't have to run the AC. Eh? We turned it off just for you guys so you could hear us. Especially with my raspy voice today. It's crazy. Leo says, how'd you guys like that rainstorm the other night? Love it. We're loving the rain. Always celebrate the rain. Was the fissure on Davis Road? No. Nope, it was on, it's on 191. Just south of
Wilcox.
Wilcox. So E.T. Travis says, what town are these fissures near? We just pursed a lot in Benson. So not near Benson, thankfully, but Wilcox. Wilcox has a lot of the issues with that. And this is kind of south of Wilcox, so...
I think that area around Wilcox is a problem issue, or a problem area for those kinds of things, just because of the geology there. It's like a closed basin, so they have problems with a lot of fissures there, and like I said, with the wells going dry.
How did you two meet? Is that an intriguing story? I mean, we just met in college. It's college romance.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an intriguing story there, but...
Another question that we got about the rainwater harvesting is how much water do you use?
Yep.
Were you able to figure that out?
I estimated. We really don't use a lot of water for household use compared to probably what the average person uses. So I figured maybe close to 3,000 gallons per year.
Whoa.
And that's just for, showering,
And that's for
cleaning,
everything, right?
Yeah, dishes, laundry, watering our little garden and animals. But we've been using a lot more for building the house because, so I think you were saying it takes about a gallon of water per bag.
When we're building, it's about a gallon of water per bag.
And the cob takes more.
Yeah, or if we're doing cob, it's about a gallon of water. What's a gallon of water per mix? And like how many mixes does it take to do like 1/3 of that? I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of water. How did you get your land? We...
I think I saw that quite like they were talking about like a realtor, right? Like we didn't go through any.
No, we didn't go through a realtor. We just kind of looked online in different places, different sites online, and then we took a trip through the county and kind of looked at different properties for sale too, and we chose this one.
Yeah, there were like a few prospects when we were going around, but then when we saw this one, it was almost a done deal, wasn't it? And then we kind of like checked out all the rest, but then when we were
this one
going
definitely
over
stood
everything,
out.
we're like, you know what, this is what I think this is the place.
the access was good
The
and
price was right.
the price was good for the amount of land.
You know, close enough to resources, but not too close to resources,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. I think people were asking about the story of like how we met. Do we have a? I think we actually do have a video that we did, didn't we? Where we kind of
Oh, probably
discussed
like
that.
years ago.
We actually have a lot of videos out there.
How many
There was a
videos do we have now? Like,
over 400. But there was like a time for almost a year, we put out like a video a day, which was kind of crazy. And yeah, I'm not sure if they were the best videos. That was quantity over quality at that point.
we're kind of learning.
Yeah, we're learning, but it was a good learning experience. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that much.
Yeah. When you're doing that much, you can learn faster, I think. How cold does it get there in winter?
It can get cold.
Well below freezing. It might get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit the coldest days, but I think that's usually like nighttime temperatures, and daytime temperatures are warmer, like 40, 50, 60 degrees.
Aurelie, hello. Got a question. Is it raining right now? I wish. With that high pressure thing you're talking about, like temperatures have gone up,
Yeah,
and it was kind of like a lull in the rain. But we could get rain as soon as maybe
next week.
Sunday, maybe.
Oh yeah.
It popped up. What kind of editing software do you use? We use Adobe Photoshop.
Adobe, well, I think it's called Adobe Elements.
Adobe Elements. Adobe Premiere Elements. How often do you wash clothes? My clothes have to get filthy. The amount of dirt in my clothes is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, I mean just crazy dirty. In fact, you want me to switch to gray socks.
Yes. Because it's just too hard. If there's white socks, it gets stained too easily, and then I feel like I have to scrub it out, and it takes a long time to clean. But like I have to soak the clothes before washing, actually, to make sure I get all the dirt out. What are you doing for the windows on the house? We were gifted a couple windows by some friends, and I think the rest might be bottle windows.
Yeah, just some windows that repurposed. They got some new windows themselves, so they gifted us their old windows. Then just the bottle windows. Now your thinking on that is technically, like, I don't know, it might end up being kind of dark inside these domes, but for you didn't want to give up the thermal mass. You actually wanted kind of maybe possibly giving up a little bit more of the light, and then just being able to a lot more temperature regulation in there. See, Tony popped in the chat. Hey, Tony, what's up?
I saw a super chat.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Has a guest ever freaked out about pooping outside? Well, we don't have an outhouse. Actually, it is inside, which might be even more weird for some people. But I don't know if everyone's freaked out. I think some people that aren't used to it are like, oh, how do I use this? What do I do? But it's not a big deal.
Has crew ever brought in unwanted critters? The only unwanted critters crews ever brought in have been fleas. I think we had to deal with that a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Bathe them. But I think we got everything taken care of. We usually find that pretty quick. Well, you're always digging through his fur, so...
Yeah, I try to groom him like every day.
I would need the light. I crave sun. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do too, actually. But I think our thinking is that we won't be spending a ton of time inside anyway.
Yeah, we like being outside during the day.
And we're building a massive house, but mostly we'll be outside anyway.
Yeah, I like the light too. That's one reason why I like living here, because there's a lot of sunny days.
It's, we used to live in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin to be exact, and there is so much of a change in, I think, how you feel and even physiological changes as well, just from being outside more and absorbing that sun. E.T. Travis, thank you so much for the super chat. Stop blocking the camera. How's the new fridge working out? Does it use much electricity? It uses... The new fridge is doing great. It uses about 300 watts when it cycles, but of course it's not cycling all the time. That's the thing about the RV fridge. It would use that electricity constantly. But this, it's just when it cycles, it uses about 300 watts. So, when using the RV fridge, I think it would drain our batteries like a third of their capacity overnight. And I think when we had just the fridge go, we always have the fridge going and the freezer going. And I think we had the fan on kind of late. And when we woke up in the morning, it was like we lost 1 volt. Bad. Can't complain about that.
Yeah. Kenneth thinks of us as like the early American settlers. Head west, young man. Do you see yourselves as pioneers? I don't know if I do.
They're not pioneers per se.
The things we're doing, other people have done before,
for sure.
So we've kind of taken our inspiration from that. Not that we're copying other people or doing things exactly the same, so we're kind of finding our own way.
We're finding our own path in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
We take bits and pieces of what other people are doing and making our own way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from northern Wisconsin. We'll be moving out that way off-grid soon. Very exciting.
Oh, cool.
Will you be adding more solar panels? No plans on that. I think our system works pretty well for what we need. And for us, I really feel like we want to make ourselves less dependent on electricity rather than kind of adding more to the system.
Yeah. There's no plans right now. I mean, down the road, like, I think we've talked about before, like, maybe having some kind of shop or something, and, possibly, maybe that would have its own system or something.
Yeah, I guess we probably won't add to the current system, but I would never rule out possibly smaller solar systems in various other places if we need electricity. I see Robin Lanter and Richard have joined. Hello. Did you design and piece together your solar system, or did you get a complete kit? I didn't do the designing. I based our design off of another design, but I did shop for all the materials, so I kind of piecemealed everything from various sources to try and get the best deals I could, and panels and batteries and everything like that. But of course, solar is just getting cheaper and cheaper all the time, and I see used electric car deals on used electric car batteries. Panels are getting so cheap you can get used panels for killer deals.
Yeah, Steve's talking about solar panels approaching 24% efficiency. Yeah, I mean, efficiency is getting better with solar technology.
It's incredible. I'm back. Wetting the pipes. Trying to recover from all that shoveling today.
You got all dried out?
I think so.
Your throat caked with dirt or something?
Probably. Water all flowing well. Yeah. So, kind of been busy with some smaller projects. Just kind of dealing with the monsoon season and everything like that. So that's kind of what the next video is going to be about. But a lot of people are asking, like, did you get the fridge covered? I think it was during our last live it started raining, so we had to like throw plastic over it right away. But one of my bigger projects over the weekend was getting something a little bit more substantial built. So we kind of go over that build. That took a little bit, and then we were having leaks from our IBC Totes, so I took care of that. I think I did a pretty good job of that. Like, I think you were thinking of like kind of something to kind of plug up the leak, but I just kind of did the replumbing, and that I think the pipes I had on there were too heavy, and it was causing leaks behind the cam locks.
Yeah, that'll be nice because we had water in the tanks and we weren't using that because I was afraid to use it because it would leak every time I use it. So now we can use it.
260 gallons ready to go. Oh, and then we also have like something fun that we put together over the weekend. That's in the video too.
Oh.
We'll leave that as a little bit of a surprise.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Jay asks, do you think it would be unwise to buy a property with a small wash and try to contain it, like make a pond or catch basin of sorts?
If it's a small wash, maybe. But I always caution, well, one thing, you definitely have to be aware of all the rules and regulations in your county and stuff like that, because sometimes they don't like you messing with the washes. And sometimes, we had friends that wanted to do that, and they thought they could kind of use earthworks and things to kind of slow and spread it, but they were much too low on that flow in order to really stop it. It came through at a really intense force and just destroyed everything they put into place.
So it probably depends on the slope that you're at, where you are in that downstream, and how fast the water moves. And
so one little bit of advice I get is you observe that wash during like a heavy storm and see what the kind of flow you're getting is. But otherwise I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think one of our neighbors They get, I think they said they get runoff from the mountains. So, their idea is to try and slow and spread that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and if you can make use of that water, slow that down and prevent it from running off and get it into the ground, that's a good thing.
how do you treat your water for drinking? So just run it through a couple filters. It goes through an inline hose filter for the trailer, and then a Berkey. And we'll probably have a more robust filtration system once we build a house. Robust.
Terry asks, if you started your journey over today, what would your order of the development of your property be? With everything you've experienced and learned, would it be any different?
Ooh, that's a good question. What do you think?
I don't think it would be much different. I think the order would generally be the same. Maybe we'd do things a little differently.
Yeah. I honestly like I think the order made sense.
Yeah.
But of course, there's always hindsight and things we could definitely change, make things more efficient, and but and that's probably goes with anything you do.
So I think, yeah, like water was one of the first things we focused on. And now the house is the next biggest thing. And then after that's going to be food.
Water, electricity. Well, we did electricity, water, and then place to live. Then we're focusing on that food.
Shower water does two jobs. It also waters the land too. Yeah, that's the great thing about gray water. You're not just using that water once. You get to use it for multiple things.
Use it as many times as you can before letting it go. Capture it. Use it as many times as you can, then let it back into the landscape. That's a cool thing. I think there's sometimes I hear a misconception about rainwater harvesting is that if you're collecting it, it's not getting into the landscape as nature intended. But the thing is, if everyone's rainwater harvesting, that might cause like a huge reduction in like going back into the ground and stuff like that. Thing is, if more people are rainwater harvesting, it doesn't stop the water from going back into the ground. It just slows that process. It slows that water cycle down. So, in the desert, evaporation is when you get a rainfall, you lose most of it to evaporation. So as much as you can collect it or get it to sink into the soil, the better.
Yeah, especially here because there's not as much vegetation like covering the ground, so you get more runoff, and the water just like evaporates right away. So.
Hewitt Homestead. Oh, that's okay being late. Glad you're here. So how full are your tanks and cistern? We probably got about 500 gallons of water or so from all the rains we've gotten so far. Should be interesting to tally it up at the end.
Yeah, the end of
the monsoon season.
Anne-Marie asked how the cob held up from the rainstorm. You'll get to see that.
You get to see that firsthand in the video. But it held up really well.
Really well.
Yeah. I knew it and I knew it would, but a lot of people just think, it's basically mud and straw. Yeah. It's just gonna all melt away, and it will, it will wash away in time. But especially those areas that you've been doing lately, and which is super important because they're higher up on the dome. I mean, held up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see a lot more. You can see like more of the straw is a little bit more visible. And like again, like give it time,
It will, yeah,
it'll
slowly wash
slowly wash
away.
away. But
But a cool thing about having soil that has more clay in it is the clay is a little bit. Oh,
yeah,
the flies.
we got
Uh,
a couple of flies in here.
clay is a little bit water resistant too, so it takes a little bit for it to, soften up and wash away.
Christine says if you're drinking it and peeing outside, you're putting it back, just adding some nitrogen.
Yeah.
It's going back in there one way or another, right? Are you putting a loft in the dome? That is correct. Yeah. Oh wow. A little while ago, I think we put a maybe I don't know how long ago, a month ago maybe, put out a video about adding in that loft.
Mm-hmm.
It's not finished yet. To be a little bit more involved with the framing and stuff like that, but gotta make use of that space up above. It's gonna be 20 feet high, y'all.
Why do you want to live so far away from civilization? Stores, medical services, etc.
We're not too far away from civilization. We're just a little bit removed from that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been your goal, though, is to get further and further away from civilization. We went from living in a city into a small town and then into the middle of nowhere. We're not too far from services. Yeah, I'd say about even there's a small town to the north of us. I think they have something there.
Yeah. Maybe a 15-minute drive or something.
But half far away, there's a much larger facility.
Yeah. So I think that's a comfortable distance.
Mm-hmm. The Cochise County Channel should collab more. We always try to do things, but everyone has their projects and everyone gets pretty busy. So I think it's a little tough. But I mean, those opportunities are there, and that's kind of nice. Even if and everyone's willing to help one another. That's the cool part about it. If they can. How far are you from a paved road? Maybe
5 miles?
5, 6 miles, something like that.
We do have neighbor. Well, closest neighbor might be about a half mile.
About a half
from
mile
us.
away. I think your definition of neighbors kind of like expands a little bit when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yeah. Does your family think you're crazy for living off grid? I think maybe they did at first.
I think they did at first, but we're doing it and we're doing it successfully. So I guess maybe they're a little less worried. I think we're a little less crazy.
Size land do you own? We have 40 acres.
Have you thought any more about a skylight at the top? You have ideas on that. I don't know if you've firmly committed to anything, but you have ideas, right?
Yes.
And it won't be a skylight per se.
It might be something
And
similar.
it might be pretty cool. The trees are absolutely loving the rain.
Mm. Yeah. Do you have a roof of any type over your RV to help with the cooling? We don't, and I think that was a decision we made at the time, like, we weren't sure if we could build something like that.
Yeah, I wasn't
We
sure
didn't have
of
the experience building roofs.
the engineering and the mechanics behind it at the time. We definitely didn't want the extra costs at the time as well. So I just decided to keep it a little bit more simple.
Yeah. So we kind of sacrificed that extra shade and stuff. But
Mm. Have you bought a new truck yet? Not yet. Not yet on the truck, but we might have to think about something because, I mean, the car is now kind of unreliable. We don't know when the car will cut out on us, so the car right now is our only mode of transportation. So we'll probably need to do something eventually.
yeah. Well, we're talking about what we want to do. Plans for that.
Can you burn wood outside living off grid, or is it prohibited? It probably depends on where you are. I personally wouldn't here, but like we might, we'll probably use like rocket stoves or something like that. But I wouldn't have like a burn pile or anything like that.
Oh.
Anything that can be done safely and contained. A lot of dry grass out here, and that grass goes up quick.
Mm.
Right? Because you were using that for when you were smoking the bees. A lot of things were having trouble catching fire in that little canister. Like we use straw, little chunks of wood, but that dry grass goes up quick, doesn't
Yes. It's good. Good kindling.
it?
Do you use a sun oven? We don't have a sun oven, but I'd like to try some kind of solar oven in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Solar dehydrating, solar cooking. I just definitely something that I'd like to get involved with. 40 acres. How does that feel? Too big, too small, just right? What are you thinking? You'll do with the 40 acres. Right now, I don't know if it feels too big. There's a lot, it's definitely a lot of space. And probably more than we need right now. I mean, how much of the 40 acres are we probably using?
I don't know. Like, have we been using an acre, maybe an acre?
Maybe an acre.
But we'll be expanding over time.
We'll definitely be expanding over time. It's nice to have that option to kind of expand and use that space as necessary. But I think everyone's different, and I don't think you need a whole lot of space to be sustainable. I think you can do it on an acre.
But I mean, we'd like to grow some trees out here. It'd be nice to have space for that, and I'd like to devote part of our property just for wildlife.
Frank says, I lost everything last year in my 5 acres, starting from scratch again. Watching you guys gives me hope and inspiration. Well, sorry to hear that, but glad you're getting back into it and starting to rebuild.
What are the bright red spotted bugs you have there in the desert, and are they dangerous? Thinking you might be talking about those velvet mites.
Red velvet mites.
Those are the
They actually feature that in
the next video, right? Too. Yeah, they're called red velvet mites, and they only come out after it rains. They're not dangerous. They actually eat insects, and they can kind of help control pests. So I think they're generally good.
Speaking of fire, have you done any fire lines or anything for prevention? Nothing yet, but it's something we definitely want to do down the road. Probably work on creating some fire breaks, stuff like that. Where is the house located on your property? Center, perimeter, etc. It is not center per se, but a little off center. Kind of maybe between the center and the perimeter.
Yeah. Yeah, that way we have, it's not too far from the road. But as far as like, it's kind of midway on the like elevation of the property.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, we don't have like a big elevation drops or anything, but
All right. Well, that is our time. We've gone over.
wow.
Yeah, gone over. Man, thanks so much everyone for joining in. Really appreciate it. That last live was a mess, so I'm glad we were able to do it this time. Although I wouldn't mind if it did rain. Thank you to our moder. I think we only have one moderator, right? Curie, built on the Rock Homestead.
Yeah.
I'm not missing anyone, am I?
I don't know.
You haven't seen anyone, have you? Well, thank you.
Thanks so much,
She did an
Curie.
amazing job. So everyone have a good night. We'll see you with Saturday's video. Should be noon Arizona time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much.
Good night.